Okay, it's actually the January 6th video. It's done, okay? And I'm debuting it now. How exciting. Wow. All right, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to read this down, I'm going to post it, and then we're all just going to breathe deep. Purpose. Why write this? On January 20th, 2025, Pixie created a Substack post, which you can see here, signaling her intent to sue me. She has since filed her lawsuit in which she claims I shared explicit material we created together without her permission. Until now, I've stayed away from addressing the exact claims she's made in her post and subsequent lawsuit. While it's important to explain my purpose for writing this, it might be more illuminating to quickly explain why I'm not writing this. I am not writing this to appease the accusations made against me by anti-fan communities or other vultures who are here to simply hype up whatever stories they can involving me or others around me. Mr. Girl, love. I'm not writing this to divulge every single personal detail of my life for the public to comb through in order to harass me or others around me. I'm not writing this to respond to the multitude of claims made about me that have been circulating on the internet, sometimes for over a decade. For the majority of these claims, I simply don't wish to rehash every single wild claim or baseless accusation someone throws my way, especially when they're demanding I divulge even more personal information to do so. And, more importantly, I shouldn't be forced to provide that level of personal access to my life. I've already had my privacy violated in the most extreme and disgusting ways over the past few months, and I don't enjoy having every single private interaction I've had held up under a microscope for the internet to psychoanalyze. I do, however, feel compelled to provide a bit of backstory to my audience for you to have a bit of an understanding of everything that's transpired over the last few years relating to this incident, if for no other reason than to dispel at least the worst assumptions that some people have made about me, even within my own community. If you're unhappy with the level of personal details, or if you wish for me to divulge more about person ABC or situation XYZ, I don't care. You can simply leave. This isn't to say that I won't address other things in the future. I probably will, but one piece at a time, okay? Why wait so long? I'm sympathetic to people who view me negatively, even in the worst light, because it seems difficult to imagine why I would stay silent on everything that's been said about the situation so far. There are 3 reasons for the delay in transparency. The first was minimizing exposure to revenge porn. A great deal of explicit content of mine had been published on Kiwi Farms, including incredibly personal communications of mine. Giving this any kind of public attention is obviously a massive victory for vulture communities as well as the leaker, and a massive loss for the privacy of myself and any of the other victims involved. It's irritating that, because I'm a man, the expectation is that any explicit material of mine leaked for sexually humiliating purposes is just expected to be laughed at by me while being made into a joke by every community on the internet, including my own. Whether that includes those maliciously lying about our hookups for purposes of public humiliation, or selectively publishing explicit leaked material online, all of it is incredibly disgusting and invasive, doubly so when I've been expected to just roll with it. It's incredibly bizarre how many people are fixated on insisting that I'm not a victim in this when I was the primary target of the entire revenge porn posting. While other people were undeniably harmed by these leaks, they were seen as collateral damage to the publisher of the material and the website providing hosting for it in the goal to attack me, whether it was through reputation, monetary harm, or just some other form of sadistic humiliation. The second point is Pixie's privacy request. Once the leaker published and hosted all of my explicit content on Kiwi Farms, Pixie messaged me and informed me that she didn't want confirmation of her in any part of the material. She said, I'm 100% denying it's me, by the way, since it's not super clear my face or anything like that. I haven't told other personal people in my life about it. This is me talking, basically, if you have any specific requests about like removing anything, and then it's just her saying, I don't want to testify or be named in anything. As far as people asking me, I'm just saying it's a lookalike. Don't tell anyone privately either if it's me or not, basically. Pixie messaged me and informed me that she didn't want confirmation of her in any part of the material. As such, I made no public statements regarding her appearance in any of the leaked material. She has since filed a public lawsuit, which is why I feel comfortable speaking out now. All of our conversations until December 10th were almost exclusively about contacting law firms, removing any explicit material online, and minimizing her risk and exposure to any online abuse or harassment. Pretrial settlement, the third reason. The vast majority of cases are settled. I Googled, there's a lot of numbers, it's all 90% plus. before they ever go to trial, and the vast majority of them before they aren't even filed in court at all. One of the big reasons why lawyers encourage their clients not to discuss their case publicly, especially before it's been filed, is because you lose a lot of leverage that you might have otherwise when it comes to negotiating a deal with the opposing party. If this seems confusing or unintuitive, that's fine. Just keep it in the back of your mind because it will become much clearer later on as I explain this. Events. In April of 2022, I was contacted by Rose. We maintained an amicable friendship up through 2023. We never have any fights or disagreements about anything. We were always on good terms with one another. November of 2024, as I was filling out my Discord friends list of people I no longer speak with, I noticed the account was still added, and we hadn't spoken in a while. So I sent a message to it, checking in to see how she was doing. I have strong reason to believe that at the time I did that, someone besides Rose was logged into the account, scrolled up to see all of the messages we'd exchanged, and took steps to protect their identity so they could dump all of the materials they'd found in our messages to various Discord servers and eventually Kiwi farms. The leaks. On November 20th, future posting, whoops. On November 20th, 2024, the Discord user Solo began to leak huge swaths of personal messages between me and another person across several Discord chat rooms. President Sunday was sent these messages and decided to do a dramatic reading of them for his YouTube channel. Several days after he and other parts of the internet had had their fun exploiting leaked material from my personal life, Solo messaged me sometime in the morning and said that he was unhappy with how the coverage of the leaks had been so far. He felt as though people weren't giving it enough attention, so he was going to leak more from my logs with Rose if I didn't allow him to come on my stream and speak with me. I don't exactly remember what the message to me was, as I just woken up, read it, and then responded briefly before going back to sleep. The next time I checked my messages with him, everything had been deleted. On that same day, November 29th, 2024, Solo dumped every explicit video I'd ever exchanged with Rose onto Kiwi Farms. One of these videos allegedly showed Pixie and I engaged in a sexual act, and she subsequently messaged me and informed me of the leak. When Pixie posted on her Substack that she had to contact me about the situation first, this was the first time I was actually even made aware that explicit material of me involving others was being posted on Kiwi Farms. I think she puts this in here, note, I had to contact him asking about the situation before he sent me this message. I think I was in the shower when I got this DM and I didn't even realize it had been posted, but okay. Time passes. I contacted a law firm in New York and began to pursue legal action relating to the revenge porn incident. Pixie made it clear that she did not want to be identified in any way in these leaks, and it's just retreading the same messages. I agreed, and I spoke nothing at all of it publicly and continued to work and stream while pursuing my legal cases in the background. All of my communications with Pixie over the next week pertained to removal of the material and pursuing actions against the leaker. I think I just selectively went through some of these, but basically it's just me, how to report comments, link me stuff if you want it removed, her asking me about updates on the law firm, asking me about updates about getting it removed from Kiwi Farm, stuff like this. Basically, it's all of our communications. Escalation. On December 11th, two strange things happened. Lauren Hayden, someone I hadn't had contact with for months, messaged me to tell me how much she hated me. On December 11th, what you did was evil. I have never hated anyone so much. That same day, just a few hours earlier, Pixie messaged me, informing me that she was planning on committing suicide in some manner in which she would expose me after taking her own life. Her message to me was, "Hi, Stephen. As my life on this earth comes to a close, I want to ask you to please be more careful with the people who place their trust in you in the future. Life is unfair, but you should do your best in preventing that, not contributing to it." I said, "Hold up there. What's up?" I wasn't actually sure if this was a super serious message or not because I'd never seen anything like this before from her, but "I'm just tired of living anymore. It's a matter of time until my family discovers what happened, and I feel like there is no way to obtain justice. I don't want to bring a case against you, but I think you'll continue to send nudes to people even without their consent. Bringing a case against you would mean going public, which is the equivalent of a death sentence for me either way. So I feel like the best thing to do is for me to kill myself and schedule a post just detailing my feelings on what happened to try to ensure a situation like this doesn't happen again. I'm not going to kill myself at this second. I'm trying to get some things in order before I end everything. But I don't see a future where I survive for much longer. It's better to end things sooner than later and stop the pain than to let it continue. Up until this point, all of our conversations had been almost exclusively focused on removing any material of her on her behalf and updating her on any legal progress, so these messages were very out of character. As a brief aside, Lauren Hayden is someone who's had bitter feelings towards me after we refused to date her about a year ago. She lies constantly, claiming that we dated, sometimes for as long as 9 months. I don't know why she keeps posting stuff like this. Aren't you grossed out by the fact you got smashed by Coomer, Gremlin, Destiny? How does it feel to get dumped by the little midget? Nope. Willingly did it for 9 months of dating him. Breakups happen. Did people forget this? Broad was begging, blah, blah, blah. We dated for 9 months, and he took our conversations out of context when I broke up with him. You can believe a liar if you wish. I don't know why. Oh, I'm sorry. I do know why she's... if this was last year, she's doing this because if Lauren is involved in something personally, she cannot help but constantly talk about it publicly as well. You can always tell like what Lauren is up to in her personal life based on who she's tweeting at, because that's just the kind of person she is. And I guess her DMing me as well. I've already posted evidence of this in the past. I think that tweet even included like a video that I'd done on this. I've already posted evidence of this past. Here's an additional conversation I had with a mutual friend last year to put that claim to rest. Lauren came to a hotel room where me and another streamer person were having a conversation basically about her. And then she was very sad, I guess, that we weren't dating, and we were trying to figure out like what was like the gentlest way to deal with her. But this is that conversation, I guess, and she keeps saying that we were dating. This is that person saying, was I too aggressive with Lauren? LOL, I don't care about you. Oh, that's sweet. I don't think so. I'm really glad she brought up some far stuff in front of you, though, with me in the room, so I could clearly demonstrate that she twists stuff like crazy regarding her, just demonstrating that Lauren fucking lies about everything in person when she's upset. This is just basically a conversation about how kind of like, I don't want to say, but no, I will actually say it, about how pathetic Lauren's situation was. She was like becoming fairly obsessive with me since I'd broken up with Melina, and then had decided that she was going to try to date me. And then when I gave her a firm no, it was like, and basically she went nuclear at that point. And yeah, it's just, we were all silent when she said that in the car. Oh yeah, because she was talking to 2 streamer people. I don't know if I'll give their names. If she wants to deny this, I can invoke those people and they can say something publicly about it. But anyway, just, that's our history, I guess. Since threats of suicide from Pixie were now involved, I reached out to a mutual friend, Aaron. Okay, yeah, I have no clue what to say or do. How much did she tell you? And then I pasted our conversation. And she says, I'm surprised she told you. To be honest, she didn't respond to this, or did she delete it? No, if she responded and deleted, I didn't see, but I'm pretty sure she just didn't respond. She's not doing well, and she had made all the wrong moves in response to this. I told her to do nothing and not reply to people. I said, I don't think she's done anything too bad or anything, like just privating her stuff for a bit was fine. She said, people have sent me stuff that she said to them in DMs. She's denying it in private and DMing people to stop talking about it because it's not her. I said, oh, well, I mean, if it's helping her process stuff or whatever, it's okay, unless she's just blowing it up or making it worse or something. She said, Erin says, she went into spicy chat and said their comments make her want to kill herself a few days ago. She had told me she would do it if her parents found out because I suggested reaching out to family members that could be trusted to give her emotional support, but she's not really talking to people. Loner messaged me asking if I'd heard from her because she hasn't been messaging. I responded to the comment about spicy chat and I said, that is bad. Yeah. Then I messaged her tonight and she said, then I messaged her tonight. And that's when she said she thinks that's what she needs to do. I said, well, fuck, I feel like going over there or asking her to just hang out for obvious reasons. I feel stupid going over there or asking her to hang out for obvious reasons, but I don't really know what else I can do or if I'm even a person who can offer support. Erin says, I don't know how she views you. When she told me, I wondered if I should tell you and ask you for help. But if she sees you as an abuser, then it seems like the ultimate betrayal to do that. Same with telling her family, blah, blah, blah. This is basically just like, I'm just trying to figure out like, okay, well, is there anything I can do? You need to calm the fuck down. Why? Stop. Okay, whatever. I have no clue what I can rectify. These are actions I'm taking legally. And then Erin says, this is pure speculation, but I wonder if she was seeing if you'd even reply or if you'd go silent when she sent me that one message, the suicide one. My understanding at the time was that Erin was an incredibly close friend of Pixie, and so sought her advice on what I could do to help. I spoke with Erin while the both of us tried to console Pixie. Erin eventually suggested, approving the exact message even, that I offer her money to help cover at least her therapy or perhaps even payments towards law school. Yeah, maybe not. I don't know what else to do. Money, or dollar signs. I fucking offer to cover her therapy or some shit. I don't know her employment situation, but I don't think it's good. You really think so? LOL, I have zero problem with that. I thought about it, but it feels super ultra scummy, or like I'm just trying to buy off her feeling bad or something, but obviously 1,000,000%, I would absolutely do this. Yes, I really think so, LOL. She mentioned pursuing a case against you in that first screenshot you sent me, and this isn't a crime that's punishable jail as far as I know. So unless she thought it did, or some other punitive measure she felt would deter you, I'm going to assume she was considering doing it for financial damages. I asked her what was an appropriate way of approaching her about it, and she said being honest and front-loading it with genuinely not being able to rectify it neutrally because of the obvious conflict of interest, but you'd like to try, and that it's something you do if it would help her. Therapy costs for sure. If you're really feeling generous, something to do with her law school pursuits, like year one or something. I don't know how far you're willing to help, but I see it as offering her something to look forward to in her immediate future. That is a goal she was working towards in the midst of all this, and it would be a reminder that her life isn't over because of this, not even close. And I said, what law school was she looking to go to? Is money the only thing stopping her from going or something? I'm not sure, but she owes me $147 and is having to pay it back to me in installments because she can't afford the payments all at once, so I'm pretty sure there are hefty financial constraints for her right now. Okay, wait, hold on. $147? Yeah, because when I move, blah, 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 and this is just basically on her financial situation, and then I post this message here to her. This was super lame, and I don't want to imply that somehow just giving you money helps anything go away or fixes everything for you. But if you have any bills or owe money or anything or have any financial stuff I can help with, I can at the very least chip in and help you with any of that. So it's at least one less thing you have to worry about or stress over while you're worrying and getting through this. Sorry. Do you think this is okay? Yes, I think it would only be skeevy to do this if you're like, can I give you money so you don't take legal action against me, please? Thank you. Smiley face. Maybe, yeah. Okay. Erin eventually suggested approving the exact message, even that I offer her money to help cover at least her therapy or perhaps even payments towards law school. After sending the message, Erin approved to Pixie. Pixie rejected it in what I thought was an odd manner. So this was me sending the message to her. She replies, it's more complicated than that. I feel like there's no justice for what's been done. I feel like people for the rest of my life are going to try to send it to my family or workplace or wherever I go. I feel extremely violated with how so many people saw me non-consensually in a vulnerable position. I feel like people are always going to use this as proof that I slept my way into whatever achievement I garner. I feel like it's evidence that everything would be better with me gone. And then she replied to my specific suggestion with, I feel like whatever I ask you to cover will be too high a price too, and then I'm going to feel even worse over it. And then the rest is me, I think, just kind of consoling her. She said that whatever amount she'd ask for would likely be too high, despite me not yet mentioning a dollar amount. At this point, I noticed her language was also taking a sharply pointed and more deliberate tone, with words like justice, non-consensual, and vulnerable showing up for the first time in our messages, almost 2 weeks out from when the original leaks actually happened. I was trying to walk an impossibly fine line with my conversations with Pixie, balancing a few key things. I was concerned for her well-being and mental health, but I wasn't sure what she was getting at with her claim of me not giving her as much money as she'd want. I was also trying to comfort her in regards to the leaks without downplaying or minimizing what she was feeling, a concern I communicated with Erin at the time. I want to send Pixie this thread and tell her that there are tons of people talking homophobically, and a few that mention Lauren, but none mentioning her, but I don't know if this comes off as me minimizing her complaints or not, LOL. If you could minimize it, that would be good actually, then she wouldn't think about it as much. Erin informed me that Pixie was settling on a figure, hinting that she would ask me to pay for her law school tuition. Notably, no actual figure was ever sent to me for consideration. Erin messaging Pixie, how are you feeling this morning? I feel better. I feel somber, but not suicidal right now. That's good. Well, not good. I'm sorry you're still somber, of course, but an improvement. Did you reply to Steven? Yeah, we got into an argument back and forth on why I shouldn't kill myself. I haven't replied to his last message or asked him to cover my tuition. I don't think he would do that if I asked him. LOL, okay, I need to think on that. Like, entire tuition for law school is like $200K, X face. I told her to make the request and y'all can negotiate from there. I don't know what law school she wants to go to. If it's like Harvard, then yeah, the whole thing being covered is probably not happening. If it's a state school in Florida, that's another story. First, she needs to actually apply and get in. That will give you time to think about the amount as well. I said, okay, we'll keep in mind. On the same day that she was expressing her thoughts of suicidality to me, she began to aggressively fight with trolls online about subject matter that seemed to be begging for people to bring attention to the recently leaked material. On that same day, December 12th, why do people think the woman body is automatically sexual? Why is it considered morally higher to be covered up? Why does other people sexualizing me makes my body a moral dilemma? Even Aaron agreed that this was a crazy Twitter battle to engage in at the time, and it seemed especially strange given that Pixie told me 8 hours earlier that she was still receiving DMs related to the leaks, was petrified of her parents finding out what had happened, and would kill herself if it ever got that far. Bro, why fight about this today of all days? She's so brave. Yeah, I don't know if brave is the right word. These were her messages to me earlier. I feel like part of the reason why I'm still freaked out about it is because it's been 2 weeks and I still have people commenting on my socials and DMs about it. I feel like Andrew and his fan base as well have some other psychos hate it, and some other psychos hate me for being a woman who disagrees with them, and that they'll use it during any opportunity they can to cause harm to me. But maybe I'm wrong. And then this is just us going back and forth over don't kill yourself, basically. And then that she'll never have a job again. You don't think it's realistic that someone might fire me over this, that I might lose whatever future career I work in because the office passed around my sex tape? I was now in an impossible position. Hold on. I was now in an impossible position. A revenge point of me was still being blasted across the internet with family members, including my 13-year-old son, being spammed with explicit videos of me, sometimes even by popular social media personalities like Justa Minx. I love that. I guess it's because I'm a guy at school. I'm trying to get better, but the image of Destiny sucking that cock is ruining it. Based. And then this is just her casually, replying to tweets of mine. It's good. Getting some good Twitter engagement here. Not that anybody gives a fuck because she's a girl and I'm a guy, but it's all good. That she has a 1.4 million follower account and it didn't matter, but all right. Multiple large social media accounts were covering it, with Kiwi Farms bragging in a tweet that a surge of visitors consuming the revenge porn of me required a database rollback. And now, on top of everything, Pixie was coupling threats of suicide and a public note with an implied request for hundreds of thousands of dollars from me to make things right for her. The surge of traffic to the Kiwi Farms related to Destiny's blowjob video has caused a fatal database error, and I will need to do a rollback to a recent backup. No contact. At some point after our conversation, on the 12th of December, Pixie removed me as a friend from Discord. From that point onwards, a small bit of communication happened between two mutual friends. One of them communicated with me that Pixie needed me to suffer in order for me to understand that I'd committed a wrong, as though I hadn't already suffered enormously due to the explosive coverage that already existed of my leaked material. They said to Pixie, if you ever wanted someone to suffer or be dead, my first instinct is to say no, but I feel like an unfortunate byproduct of getting justice from Steven would result in some level of suffering, so I guess the answer is yes. Are you wanting him to suffer, or do you want justice there? I want justice. If I could have justice without the suffering, that would be optimal, but I'm just not sure if possible. She also communicated to a friend that she was essentially ready and waiting to kill herself based on whether or not I responded favorably to paying out a massive amount of money. I think I'm going to decide my next course of action of what to do with myself, and him based on how that conversation goes, a conversation my friend was going to have with me. Unless if you decide you don't want to talk to him, that's okay too. Basically, I have my plans / course of action paused and will choose something depending on if he agrees that he has to make up / repent for the action and wants to work with me to find a way to do that, or if he doesn't feel that way. I don't want to talk to him myself because I feel like I tried explaining what I was feeling and he didn't really understand. I also have a little anxious voice in my brain telling me to prepare for the worst because he probably won't care or doesn't care enough to willingly try to make up for his mistakes, and that means I'll have to start thinking of more extreme / nuclear options to deal with, but I'm trying to avoid spiraling down that line of thought because I'm trying to hold out for hope. And just not to scare you, I'm 100% not going to do anything to myself, no matter what he says during the holiday season, because I don't want to traumatize my friends during a time that's supposed to be happy. And even if he responds negatively, it doesn't mean I'll auto-kill myself. I'm trying to contemplate all different courses of actions, including going public, and then, if I can't take the amount of humiliation, then killing myself. Versus my plan before of scheduling a note for after I die. I'm still also looking into lawyers, but I just want to see what he says before deciding to do any nuclear option. Can I share this with Steven? He communicated to me that he knows he fucked up. There is no excuse at all. He doesn't know what he can do to make it up for you. I'm trying to bridge between help, blah, blah, blah. Can I share this with him? You can share this with him, or you can share this in anything you want with him. I feel like when we talked, you really understood where I was coming from and can hopefully explain this better than I can. She reiterated that I needed to face consequences for my actions, claiming that she was on a mission to make this the most expensive mistake of my life, again, despite the insane amount of harassment I had already received regarding the leaked material. My friend had listed out what is it exactly that you want. Yeah, because the only problem is number 3, because even with removal of the video and getting the guy hacked charged, Steven has to face consequences proportional to his actions. I want this to be the most expensive mistake of his life, and I'm essentially asking him to self-punish himself in a way I don't think he will like or agree to without the law involved. I don't have a dollar amount from the top of my head. It just has to be enough that for the rest of his life, if he thinks of the word nude, he associates it with the amount of money he lost. Obviously, I don't want to make him destitute, but it should be large enough that he does feel upset about it and is not easily recoverable. She said that I had offered to simply pay some bills, possibly to the tune of $200, though I had absolutely no idea where she ever got that figure from. Yeah, honestly, I feel comfortable sending him these messages and asking him, what does he think this would look like if you're telling me of that he is comfortable with the idea of proportional penance and how that would look like. I just feel like he didn't understand when he said he would pay some bills for me, because it makes me feel like he's telling me, oh, I'm sorry that happened. Here's $200. Hope you feel better, which I think really underestimates the gravity of the situation, to put it lightly, and somehow makes me feel like a cheap prostitute, or it makes me feel like that's how severe he perceives his actions to be, LOL. After assurances from my friend that I was willing to pay a lot more than she had originally thought, she informed me that she was finally ready to reach out to me, using this conversation as a starting point. I think he was worried you would feel he's paying for your silence, but did want to help but didn't want to overstep. I think he's offering a lot more than how you read it, but I totally understand why you read it that way. Okay, that makes me feel a lot better. I think I'm ready to reach out to him, using this conversation as a starting point, if you're okay with that. Like, I'll send him the conversation/texts so he can see where I'm coming from. Sure, but what I would outline isn't a clear ask, but a question of what you feel you need from him and what he's willing to give. Yeah, that makes sense. I really hope we can figure out a compromise and what works for both of us. At this point, mutual friends tell me that she's expecting between $500,000 to $1 million as just compensation for her suffering, though I hadn't seen that in writing anywhere yet. At this point, I felt incredibly uncomfortable establishing any direct contact. Threats of suicide, paired with requests for huge sums of money that seemed to hinge directly on whether or not I was willing to self-punish enough, paired with threats to expose me publicly if I wasn't willing to make the right choice, left me in a very rough position. I was still dealing with the mountains of harassment my family and I were receiving, 5-figure legal fees in my pursuit against the original leaker, and now I was facing a decision about whether or not I needed to fork over some huge sum of money to prevent someone from either killing themselves or exposing me to the public. D-Day. On January 20th, 2025, while flying back from the studio in New York, I was notified that 2 videos were going live that seemed to be centered on recent events. A video titled Destiny, Predator Unmasked by Coben Seethe, and Exposing the Destiny Abuse Machine by President Sunday. Both of these videos included a multitude of messages between different parties behind the scenes that I was totally unaware were coordinating with each other. In addition to these 2 videos, Pixie dropped her Substack statement about me. Lauren Hayden launched a Give, Send, Go for Pixie in order to raise funds to sue me, and other members of the Anti-Fan Discord made claims about me, sharing material on Twitter. All of these events happened within 12 hours of each other. Basically, every internet friend I had publicly denounced me, other streamers and YouTubers responded almost instantly to cover the statements, and a slew of videos went up with a variety of claims about me, the worst of them heavily implying I was a rapist. All of this also refreshed the attention on all of the leaked material, mine and Pixie's included, and brought awareness of it to a much, much wider audience than ever before, leading to an exponential increase of harassment across every social media platform I'm on. Lav, someone who proudly spread revenge porn of me in the past and admitted to it. How dare I want the person who made my life hell for a year want to be humiliated? What the heck is wrong with me? It was advantageous for that to be leaked publicly, but it never was. This is in regards to something that happened like 6 months ago, where supposedly some material of mine had leaked onto a Discord server. I didn't want to get in trouble, and I felt bad doing it, so I didn't, and I encouraged Nico Sam to spread it and not get caught because I thought it was deserved. It's not a felony to send a picture of a leaked sex tape to your friend, bro, Limfeo. We were drawing things on it, my dick, back and forth like the Doom Worm. I sent it to people who Nico had already sent it to, supposedly. I made a screen grab of his foreskin, my profile pic, and a private Discord server. That's it. I wasn't sending it around. I got a picture from a random person on Discord. What? That's a zoomed in image of the image of your cock she was sending. Based. And Mr. Girl, LOL, made a grand return to Justicle's stream. Justicle also began to reach out to other women, some of who had been sexually harassed by members of his own Discord server, to see if any of them wanted to come on and make a statement about me. I didn't decide to include all the messages here, but there's him to on it. If you're around, shoot me a message. Are you aware of what's going on with Destiny? Justicle reached out to quite a few people, we'll say. People everywhere began to speculate that every insane narrative about me was true. People everywhere began to speculate that every insane narrative about me that had ever been spun had now been prophetically fulfilled, and I crashed on my couch for 3 days to contemplate retirement. Also, Justicle banned Laugh from his server because he realized how bad the optics were while he was trying to farm me. I just thought that was funny as the main cover of a lot of this.
Here's the first thing. Is that JSTLK already knew about this before yesterday. We talked about it slightly. And he said that, it was different to what Destiny did, but it was, still bad, and so he didn't want me on stream talking about the Destiny allegations anymore. I was like, you know what? I get it. Whatever. I get it. Whatever. Even though it's, completely different than what Steven did. It, I don't want to... It's, bad optics to...
Picking up the pieces. Seeing the number of people and schemes revealed initially made me incredibly paranoid about who I could trust that wasn't mining our conversations for some sort of confession or blackmail material. Just to go messaging, hey, I really don't want to pry. Some stuff came out with respect to Pixie. I don't want to talk about it anywhere, but just asking if you're aware. What do I do? Just say yes? As in, yeah, I'm aware? President Sunday, say nothing. Give him a night to possibly think to say something else. Tomorrow, say yes and ask why. That's my advice. I don't know, he talks weird. Reason being is that everybody at the moment, I think Justicle is weirdly one of the few in trust at the moment. I'm so frustrated with her, but I don't see how getting upset with her for doing this will lead to anything other than making her feel bad. It won't do anything. You're going to have to let her torch herself and then pat her shoulder after the consequences of her own actions ruin her year. The smart move actually would be to maneuver as a victim of Steven and put those people currently jumping down her throat on her side. but outraged about the fact of the leak and make that the scandal instead of, ooh, Pixie, no. Nice. Kyla was being snaky about this. Pixie contacted her and was kind of trying to use her as a liaison. I told her Kyla can't be trusted to help with that. Dan contacted Pixie a few weeks ago. According to what she told me, basically said, ask Steven for a reasonable amount of money, and he'd probably pay it, plus wanting to convince her not to take legal actions against Kiwi Farms, which he's considering. You up for a call later tonight? Blah, 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 blah. Let's talk tomorrow. I'm going to talk with someone I trust. Sounds good. This is blackmail. Tell her under no circumstances to do this. Dan is a fucking moron, or he's trying to sabotage her. Seeing Lauren's name, created by Lauren Dreben Hayden. Seeing Lauren's name pop up on Pixie's Substack confirmed to me that there was significant coordination going on in the background between her and Pixie. At least, and seeing Aaron and President Sunday talking and scheming so much made me wonder what everyone's ultimate goal was. Pixie going public was something I hadn't heavily considered because it seemed to worsen both of our positions on virtually every front. Her part in the leaked material had been virtually unknown up to that point, and she had also proclaimed several times up to this point that she would kill herself if her parents discovered her role in it. I think if it was public info that you were taking legal action, 99% of people who come across it would assume it was because of your own videos and not even know about the other stuff, to be honest. I follow the bottom feeders and drama frogs who discuss all of this stuff, and very few people have even mentioned Pixie. I haven't actually heard Melina's name come up once. The blah, 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 this guy, Smith, some weird dude. There's nothing she can do about randos on Twitter, but as far as communities that are close to her, it's pretty much a blacklisted topic. She's driving herself crazy because she's clearly name searching herself and just going through Kiwi Farms. McQueen watched the video, and even most of his gay little chat was like, okay, even I didn't know Pixie was involved. What the fuck? Queefman? Did I fuck up? The only thing her going public seemed to accomplish was to make the material far more publicized than it ever would have been otherwise. It also became clear to me that Aaron and President Sunday weren't the main people Pixie was listening to in the background. Update, nope, haven't heard from her since the 8th, but she's been active, so she's just ignoring me. We'll give it a couple days. I'd like for her to update me, and she kind of randomly had been throughout this whole thing, but I think she's annoyed with me. I told her to gently readjust her expectations with money that she could receive in any sort of settlement, plus said the demand letter first wasn't a good idea. Let me know when you're available to talk. Serious development, good development. Oh, I'm not free until tomorrow night to chat. TLDR, should it wait? Urgent, actually. Tell me I can't pass anything to Pixie, though. She's not replying, and I just don't feel comfortable bringing anything about this up to her. That, combined with Lauren's creation of the give, send, go, plus the message she sent me the same night Pixie began to threaten suicide to me, made it more clear to me that Lauren was likely the one guiding her behavior. I think this is just a picture again of her creating that give, send, go. I also felt far more confident in my suspicion that this was all ultimately about extracting the maximum amount of money from me. Pixie had deleted her message to me where she'd even implied a higher dollar amount than what I'd be comfortable with. So we are in our DMs where she said, I feel like whatever I ask you to cover will be too high a price too. And then I'm going to feel even worse over it. This message, the only time we'd ever discussed an actual dollar amount kind of, was deleted now from our DMs. Seemingly tried to cover her tracks by implying that I could donate to a charity while texting a mutual friend. I don't think if Steven faces consequences, he will change it again. If he wants to, he can donate the money to some charity or organization. I just think that other than jail, or even more than jail from the studies I read, money is the strongest reinforcer, and losing it is the strongest punishment. Cover her tracks by implying I could donate to a charity while texting a mutual friend, and now I was seeing Aaron telling President Sunday that her suicide threat was done just to get my attention. And the messages here that she had been sending to President Sunday, Aaron says she was threatening to kill herself to him, but she told me this wasn't serious, it was just to get his attention. I also saw that she'd put together the statement that she published on her Substack at least 12 days earlier, and, perhaps unknowingly to her, actually exactly outlined her schemes and messages to Aaron that looked similar to texts she'd sent to Kyla. Update, she sent me a statement she wants to publish, but it's terrible. This was on the 8th of January. And then to Aaron, she says, "What day were you thinking about releasing it?" I mean, the most I can think of is the Virginia stuff or Nas, but I have trouble seeing how he would do that in a way that doesn't make him look worse for trying to deflect. I don't know what she's talking about here. If she thinks I would, like, attack her friends, I don't know. I'm going to talk to my lawyer first, send a demand letter, and based on his response to said demand letter, release it. I originally wanted to do it by next week, but it seems unlikely. This was on January 8th. And then this looks similar to the text she'd sent to Kyla, or my friend, I should say, about deciding our course of action based on how I respond. This completely destroyed the idea that President Sunday's video had forced her hand. Ironically enough, President Sunday seemed to understand the extortion angle as well, though he was incorrect in saying that it was Pixie's first impulse to do this, as that seemed to develop sometime around or before December 11th, which is when, I'm guessing, Lauren began coaching her more ardently. This is his take on everything, but I don't know if it matters to get his take, but I also finally saw, in writing, confirmation that she was indeed seeking a payout of at least $1 million in order to prevent her from going public. These were messages Kyla and Pixie exchanged on December 18th. Kyla was telling Pixie that she would talk to Steven IRL about the whole ordeal, but then she said scheduling issues prevented the conversation. She also says every time she's tried to ask for details via messages, he's not engaged, but I think that's a lie, obviously. And for context, Pixie wanted to sue for a lot of money, literally $1 million plus, but I told her that amount isn't realistic. If she did that, which I doubt, that would be incredibly misleading. She's wanted an incredible amount of money from the start, and I have repeatedly but gently told her that she will not get the sum she wants. There's no legal basis for her getting $1 million payout, which she repeatedly discussed with me. Aaron thinks, for whatever reason, I guess, that I'm lying about having talked to Kyla, but every single person close to me, I basically said, hey, I'm not talking about this with you. We're not discussing this, except for the things in relation to the communication through Pixie, because I had no idea who was talking to who, and I just didn't want to be the mastermind manipulator or anything, so I didn't give instructions, talk to anybody, say anything, do anything, unless they were communicating things to me from Pixie. Sharing videos. As a quick aside, and to get way further into my sexual life than I'd ever publicly want to, trading nudes or videos with someone isn't done to impress anyone, as Pixie writes in her Substack. In my world, it's generally just fun to see someone you're speaking with engaging in sexual acts. When the idea of making recordings comes up with someone, there are a few different categories that people tend to fall into. For people who are extremely concerned with their privacy, or material possibly leaking, I generally just recommend that we don't record anything at all, as there's always some risk that stuff can leak, and it's just not worth the anxiety of having any material like that recorded. If someone still wants to record something after that, I would generally just have them record on their phone for them to keep hold of the material. Other people don't view it as a catastrophe if the material leaked, and have already made recordings of themselves and others and exchanged them with other people. With that out of the way, conversations guessing as to whether or not any of the leaked material was consensually shared was a hot topic of discussion following the initial leaks. Pixie would send messages to people to tell them that she had never sent videos of other people to me before, and she portrayed herself in her Substack as though I was the first person to ever suggest this to her, and I was the first person she ever recorded material with. I know that she's messaged people with stuff like this. This statement and implication, however, are both false. She'd sent me videos of her and other guys multiple times prior to us ever meeting and requested material from me as well. It was also her who suggested multiple times that we record stuff when we met later in 2020. I took some videos of the guy I can send you later if you're interested also. Okay, I'll send you when I get them. This is just basically her talking about sending me videos of her with other people on Instagram where she DMs this to me. basically. I don't want to read these. They're cringe as fuck. I'm with a guy friend right now. I could probably get a photo or video of him, blah, blah, blah. And then the times that for us recording anything, it's going to be something you do. Would you want to make some videos together? If you want to, yeah, sure. Do you want to take videos when we do stuff together? I think blah, blah, blah. Jesus Christ. I was engaged to Melina at the time, so there's no way I would have agreed to anything that wouldn't have allowed her to view anything I recorded. Pixie was comfortable sending me videos of her and other identifiable men, with them even having saved the videos on their own phones. I took videos of some guy. I can send you later if you're interested. Sure, I'll send them to you when I get them. At no point in any of these conversations did Pixie ever mention having explicit consent from any of these other men to share these videos with me. I have no way of contacting them today to find out if she did. All this to say, consent was being reasonably understood by both sides of this situation. Back to the Substack. Pixie DM'd me first, I believe after we'd had a debate on some Twitch panel on October 23rd, 2019. She told me multiple times that she was 20 years old. You're 20, right? Yeah, yeah, I am 20. I had a fake ID, blah, blah, blah. I'm 20, yeah, yeah. So I'm not entirely sure why she said I was hitting on her when she was 19. By the time we met in person, she was 21. Based on my interactions with her, I find it odd that she describes herself as extremely sexually inexperienced and sheltered as well. When I was 19, over 5 years ago, I was extremely sexually inexperienced and sheltered, being severely terrified of leading, so blah, blah, blah. In several places, Pixie deliberately uses language that makes it sound as though I'm simply sending explicit material containing only her to another person. Pornographic content of me online. So you can imagine my surprise when I discover he distributed pornographic content of me without my consent. Yes, you read that right. He sent pornographic content of me, was trying to using my body and my privacy. This is not the case. The material in question is an explicit video of me and her together. I would never just send around explicit material of another person on their own. Any material I've exchanged is done so because I'm in it, not to impress someone by using someone else's body. She also repeatedly claims that the main purpose of the statement was about preventing me from harming other women. If that was the case, why did she contact me at all prior to releasing it? Why was her publishing this statement contingent on my response to her and how much I was willing to pay her? One of the most irritating and conspiratorial claims she makes against me is that I was sending material to a person intentionally hoping they would leak. This all comes from her statement. I don't think I need to explain just how unbelievably baseless, callous, and malicious this point is, as I have suffered irreparable privacy and reputational harm due to all of the publicization of the leaked material. Similarly, I find it both incredulous and ludicrous that she would imply that I was somehow attempting to intimidate her based on comments I'd been making about Hassan. I have never at any point in this process told her that she had no right to take legal action against me, nor denied her any right to pursue whatever justice she felt was reasonable. On the contrary, she has been the one threatening me with going public and with suicide the entire time if I wasn't willing to pay her a massive sum of money. She also manages to twist every conversation we had in the most malicious way possible, claiming that I was downplaying my actions, when in reality I was trying to talk her off a ledge from killing herself with the advice of her friend. In addition to the misrepresentation and lies in her statement, she is also sure to link directly to any tweets involving other high-profile figures I spoke with, likely with the goal of getting others to tweet her statement at them. She also makes it explicitly clear that her goal is to simply inflict as much damage onto me as possible. Also, the wording of her Substack tweet heavily implies that I was also publicly posting revenge porn of her. On November 29th, the streamer Destiny accidentally showed my nudes, making me a victim of revenge porn. I'll be suing him in federal court. I'm not clicking these links. They're just like links to her quoting her Substack, basically. Negotiations begin. On January 31st, 2025, I received the first written demand from Pixie's law firm. This time, the letter was citing Florida Civil Statute 784-049 for sexual cyber harassment, which requires malicious intent for publishing images. Basically, for this, it's saying that you're sending these for no legitimate purpose with the intent of causing substantial emotional distress to the depicted person. Thankfully, the demand to settle our dispute was a reasonable one, with Pixie only requesting $15 million plus legal fees in order to come to an amicable settlement. Notably, there was no request for any of this money to go to charity. As a result of this violation, my client has suffered considerable harm, including but not limited to severe emotional anguish, damage to personal relationships, and public humiliation. The unlawful actions have disrupted my client's personal and professional life, and we are now compelled to seek monetary compensation for these damages. In light of the foregoing, we hereby demand the following. Immediate monetary compensation for the damages caused by the unauthorized disclosure of intimate images. Specifically, my client is entitled to at least $15 million in compensation for the following things. A formal written apology from you acknowledging your role in the unauthorized disclosure and the harm it caused, immediate cessation of further things, reimbursement of legal fees, failure to resolve this matter within 5 business days. All right. A phone call followed between our two law firms to discuss the absurdity of this demand. I was incredibly irritated at this point, as Pixie had already launched a maximum pressure campaign against me publicly, and I was forced to sit on my hands while these negotiations took place, since I didn't want to compromise her ability to settle things with me without having to publicly out our prior private interactions. It was also unbelievable to me that someone could so quickly go from being so suicidal over the prospect of her parents discovering the leaked material to posting a public statement against me, implicating her in all of the leaked material and exploding its popularity, filing a civil suit against me without even trying in good faith to reach a settlement beforehand, and publicly provoking and continuing fights with others who were also publicizing aspects of the leaked material. Just randomly bashing some dude's physical appearance. You look like a hard-boiled egg wearing a toupee, and you think you're qualified to comment on someone else's looks. And then him bringing up, obviously, the leaked material. Sir, you flirt with one. And then her quote tweeting it and responding about it. The present. And that's where we're at now. The last few months have been an utter nightmare for me. It's frustrating that no one cares that QB Farms is still, to this day, hosting all of the revenge porn on their own servers. To reiterate, the reasons it's taken me so long to make any statements about this are because, initially, I wanted to minimize publicizing both mine and other people's explicit material. Then, it was due to Pixie's claims that she would kill herself if the material ever made its way to her parents. And finally, it was done to allow Pixie to have the maximum room possible to negotiate some sort of settlement with me without me having to come out with a statement of my own that sheds more light on her character and her behavior. There's always room for improvement in my own behavior, and I've obviously reflected on and changed the way I've engaged with people in this space over the past couple of years. This entire ordeal involves a video recorded 5 years ago and sent 3 years ago in April of 2022. It's irritating that my prioritizing Pixie's well-being at every stage of this after the leaks has resulted in me being maligned so heavily, but alas. I don't look forward to the next 12 to 18 months of this drip feeding onto my content. Maybe we'll spend it trying to beat Elon into space. What a fun adventure. I don't really want to get into like a huge back and forth on whatever bullshit. I know there are other situations and things that people have made, other accusations or claims that are all entirely fucking baseless. But I'm trying to do this one piece at a time because I'm managing multiple stuff, especially stuff that might become legal. I just have to be careful with exactly what I say about the other person, so I don't invite further civil action in the form of like, oh, now he's defaming me or blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, anyway, I'll post this. Good luck. I don't know if I'm doing anything else tonight or not with Dan. And then tomorrow I will, play video games and do fucking commentary and all that bullshit. Any comment on how Kyle and Dan got raked over the coals for no reason by your detractors? I really feel for them. It's all just like conspiracy posting. Me and Kyla, literally, I don't know what it is about Kyla, but she invites literally the most deranged, obsessive hatred ever. Pretty sure most people in this situation, at least that I've communicated with, have basically been trying to communicate with Pixie for Pixie's sake, and that's every communication I've seen has seemed to further that. Now, there might be other communications that I'm not aware of that contradict that, but I haven't seen it. Generally, when I go to write stuff like this or do research, I usually have like 20, 30, 40, 50 people that are communicating with me, different logs or different things at different points in time. After this whole situation exploded, I literally have nobody communicating anything with me because I'm apparently a rapist. So every piece of information I've gotten is just what I've been able to piece together on my own, and then what other people have managed to leak or post in public videos. So, yeah. Well, Good luck. Have fun. Be careful. Stay safe. I will, yeah. I'll see you tomorrow. Oh, wait. Sorry, some guy asked this. Will you explain what I hired a more aggressive law firm means? Like, what does that more aggressive mean in this case? And how does it work having two firms? The first firm I contacted was to basically deal on the plaintiff side, to deal with the person who is maliciously leaking and posting all of the material. However, they're, I don't know how much I want to get out of this. If you have a good law firm, they usually specialize in certain types of things. That law firm is, I would say, specializes in plaintiff stuff. Like, they go after people who do certain things, but they don't really specialize in defense cases. It's just not really what that law firm does. So I retained a second law firm that specializes more in defensive stuff against people making claims against you, hence the second one. But, yeah. All right. Well, have fun. Be careful. Don't die.